What struck me when I first looked at this manuscript is how this book, which has survived over 700 years, came down to us today. For centuries, Jewish life has been defined by movement. Merchants on the Mediterranean routes, scholars and scribes crossing borders, families rebuilding after upheaval. Books and ritual objects moved with them. Iberian micrography, Chinese parcel-gilt Torah cases, all testify as much to adaptation as to continuity.
The saga of the Jewish people in the diaspora really goes to the four corners of the world.
Together, these precious objects map a global Jewish life, objects that carry movement, memory, and meaning.
After 30 years of working with Judaica, I don't expect to find new surprises, and yet they constantly are there.
Let's look closely at these objects and the stories that they tell. This magnificent Hebrew Bible was copied by a highly skilled Jewish scribe around the year 1300. It is a masterwork of Iberian scribal culture. This Bible is unsigned, however, by a careful study of the codicology and the paleography, we are able to determine that this book was likely written in Spain, in the great city of Toledo, around the year 1300. On this page, you see one of the beautiful geometric forms, and it is a Star of David. And what you see here is this star formed out of micrographic miniature writing. Only the most skilled of scribes could have created this kind of embellishment, and the Star of David is seen throughout the manuscript, and it's one of the clues that tells us that the manuscript was written by an expert scribe, Joseph ben Judah ibn Mervis, and it looks just as fresh as when the scribe first put pen to parchment. Parchment, that is animal skin, is a very durable strata on which to write books, and it is believed that a book of about 200 folios, that is 400 pages, would have required as many as 150 animal skins to be able to produce. That's a lot of sheep. The Jews were expelled from Spain in 1492 and Portugal in 1497. One of the few things that they were allowed to take were their books. This Bible was carefully preserved for centuries and comes down to us today as a rare survival of the Jewish community of Spain. When the Jews left Spain, one of the places they went to was Italy, and they took the history and the practice of decorating ketubot, Jewish marriage contracts, with them. And what we're looking at here is a magnificently, lavishly decorated Jewish marriage contract from Italy from 1732. In the archway above the central text of this ketubah, we see the Aramaic words saying B'simana tava umazalia ma'alia. And this means, in Hebrew, Siman tov umazel tov, or in English, congratulations, as we use the term mazel tov. What are the signs of the zodiac doing on a marriage contract? Well, it's very interesting. These signs of the zodiac are a visual representation of the wishes for good luck to the bride and the groom, that the stars and the signs of the zodiac would align, and may their marriage be one of good fortune. In addition, on the bottom of this ketubah, we see some interesting imagery, and it shows the ways in which the Jews of Italy adapted and adopted the art of the country in which they were in. This charming miniature manuscript was written by a professional scribe artist, Moses, the son of Jacob Schneitak. It contains prayers for a traveler, which beseeches God for protection on the journey and for success in their endeavors, as well as the prayers that are recited before retiring to bed at night. It is very interesting that we see this revival of Hebrew manuscripts in the 18th century. And what you can see here is a luxurious binding. This is leather with gold tooling, and it comes in the original case, which would have kept it safe. The merchants would have taken this with them as they traveled and used it to say their nighttime prayers. It's really very special to be holding this 300 years after it was created and see the beautiful condition that it's in and the prayers that it holds.
This lamp was made in Holland, in Amsterdam, in 1752. The main part of it would be the oil reservoir. It's a star-shaped form that was often called a Judenstern, or a Jewish star. This is an oil drip holder, but it's also beautifully pierced with these palmette designs and a cast-applied rib. I mean, this is a beautiful example of Dutch Rococo silver. It would have hung in the house, often over the table for the Sabbath meal on a Friday night, lit usually by the woman of the house as part of the Sabbath celebrations. We joke that there is no such thing as a Rococo revival in Judaica because they never let go of the Rococo in the first place. These pieces are examples of times and places where we are seeing innovation. So this is a wonderful example of a Chinese silver Torah teak. Even though it's made in China, one of the fascinating things about it is that the model that it's copying originates in Baghdad with a group of Iraqi Jews that start there, and the Sassoons are probably the best known example and one of the leaders of this group, that then go on and travel to Bombay and then Calcutta and then Hong Kong and then Shanghai. So while you've got a shape, and a lot of the details here are exactly what we would see on a Baghdadi Torah teak of, say, the early 19th century, the little line of leaf tips that you see around the top, but then the actual decoration we're seeing, you've got this wonderful, vigorous chasing done by Chinese craftsmen of completely Chinese motifs, overblown peonies, scrolling leaves against a matted ground. That's entirely coming from the craftsman. And what you have as they come together is this really exquisite piece of craftsmanship we see in front of us. Next, we have a pair of Sabbath candlesticks. They're made by an artist called Ilya Shor, a silversmith who was born originally in Ukraine, who studied art in Warsaw and Paris, and then fled Europe right before World War II broke out. Coming to New York, when you look at what he's put on these candlesticks, he's remembering the world that he grew up in. This is the world of Fiddler on the Roof. You've got boys playing with dreidels. You've got mothers holding challah and patterned aprons. These are vignettes of a life that he knew, and which by the time he's making these is a vanished world.
As the pages of the books close and the silver objects retain the memories of the earlier generations, these objects refuse a single story. They carry traces of craft, of devotion, of loss, of reinvention, of artistry, and of evidence that Jewish life has always been both mobile and deeply rooted.